welcome to the Segway.
The best thing that happened to you on a Halloween.
That is right. Recording live in Ashtabula.
Ashtabula.
Trashtabula. Yeah, so we have a special guest today on this here Halloween episode. We have the fact check whisperer himself, Alex Chapek.
Hey, that's me.
That's Alex. You can also find him. Well, do your plug, your Let's Play.
Oh, my Let's Play. Okay,
Yeah.
That is on my channel called Ghost Type Alex on YouTube. I'm currently in the middle of a Let's Play of Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, the Reignited Trilogy.
So check that out, but not until after you listen to this. So last week on the podcast, we talked about the Ashtabula River Railroad Disaster, talked about the bridge collapsing, train cars falling in the water, people drowning, dying, burning, and two main things coming from that. One, the engineer supposedly killed himself, and they buried all the unidentified bodies from the accident in the Chestnut Grove Cemetery about 8 to 10 minutes away from where the bridge was. So what we did today was we went to ACMC, the Ashtabula Hospital. They have a plaque there, so we took some pictures of that, read it, checked that out. We got some dinner, waited for the sun to set, and then we made our way over to Chestnut Grove Cemetery.
It's a beautiful cemetery. It was a lot of fun to go out there. We're actually not that far from it now. So it was dark when we got there, and we went in, and we started walking, and we weren't sure where to go. And there was a sign. It said, "This way, fellas. Go this way." And we went that way.
It's true.
I don't know. Should we start with the plaque first, though? Am I getting ahead of myself?
There's only so much to say about the plaque. Like, if I've driven past it so many times in my life, but yeah, like the corner parking lot of the ACMC hospital, there's just a plaque kind of detailing it. I believe it was near the hospital, maybe behind it on the river where the bridge originally was. And I'm pretty sure that the hospital was built because of that situation, because of, like, they were in dire need of medical attention. I was actually born in that hospital. That's a fun fact.
No, that actually is pretty interesting. I actually missed the plaque the first time we drove past it. Got out, we took some pictures, and Tyler did a little thing. So we went and got some food, and then we went out to the actual cemetery. And it's like, the entrance to the cemetery is like on this street, just like this suburban street, and like you wouldn't think it's just like the end of a driveway.
Well, are you sure? Is that the official entrance, though? I feel like that was just one way of getting inside.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't.
See, one way that you could handle this is you could have gone there during the day to scope it out. But I think it's more fun to kind of keep it up to the imagination. Like, we only experienced it in the dark, in the nighttime. And that just kind of leaves more of a mystery of, like, how big is it? You know, how wide does it expand? How many entrances are there? Like, the fact that we don't know all of that, I think just makes the experience a little bit more fun, a little bit more creepy.
We had a lot of guessing experiences. Like, we thought we were about to fall into a lake.
Yeah. Here's where it definitely differed from the Witch's Ball. So when we went to the Witch's Ball a couple months ago, we, like, parked, walked in, and we were like, I wonder where it's at. And then we're like, oh, there it is. It's right
so
there. Weird. where today, looking for it, it was like, because we knew that there's a specific monument that is built specifically for the people that were buried there, the unidentified bodies. So, but we knew it was the tallest one, the tallest gravestone, so to speak, in
But
there.
that's relative. So
Yeah.
that's why it's hard to find.
Exactly. So it's like, well, this one's taller than the rest. No, that's not it. This one's taller than the last one. No, that's not it. So we probably spent about 20 minutes searching for it, which I actually kind of enjoyed. Like, it's kind of fun. But once we saw it, I think Charlie saw it first.
I think so. I was like, hey, I think that's the tallest.
It was
Yes.
significantly bigger than everything else. Like, it towered over the cemetery. What was your experience like, Alex, up until this point?
I didn't feel anything. I was more excited to try to find the monument, so I didn't really feel anything until we got there.
Yeah. Did we find Collins? We found that first, right?
We found that first. I thought it was a
Okay.
church at first.
Yeah.
Like, it looked hulking and like black. I'm like, that's got to be a church. It was not.
What's the name for what it was?
It's a mausoleum.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I don't know.
Well, if we did find that first, then I take that back. I did feel something when I walked past there.
Yeah, it really, like, when we were walking on the side of it, it was like, is this a church? Like, is there a church next to this cemetery?
I thought there was.
I guess it would have been a really small church, but nonetheless. I wasn't really feeling much either. In our experience of ghost hunting, we like to take EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, just on our phone. We're amateur hour. Like, we don't we have no fancy equipment. We have Apple technology. What, do you have an Android?
No.
You have Apple?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Apple technology, so we're not like, we're not Ghost Hunter, Ghost Adventure, Zach Extraordinaire.
Zach Big Ons.
I didn't wear a mask over my face and talk like I'm really dramatic out there. I didn't do any of that. But we like to do EVPs just to see if we can catch anything. But I typically don't like to start them until we feel something. But in this case, it was kind of like, well, we found the monument, so we decided just to kind of give it a shot.
That's a car.
Yeah. Yeah. We're in a parking lot right now in Charlie's car.
Yeah. Man. Ashtabula, outside of Walmart.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So we restarted the EVP outside the monument. And it's this big monument, but, like, I didn't feel anything, did you?
No, I didn't feel much the entire night. I was trying to, when you're walking around, you're trying to listen to things, but we were actually having this conversation while we were in there. We definitely try to debunk before anything else. Like, if we hear a shuffling, if we hear an echo, if we hear a revving or something, we're going to say it's our echo walking off graves, or it's a car in the distance, or it might be this. Like, we're not trying to jump to conclusions because, we want to be validated. We want you guys to trust us with our opinion. So that way, if we do bring something forth, it's not like, well, every time they hear something, they jump on it and they think it's paranormal. Like, we're trying to avoid that situation. So I was trying to pay attention to any sounds that I was hearing, but like I guess the weirdest thing that I noticed was it was kind of crazy how like it was a really starry night the whole walk in the cemetery, and it was really dark. But as soon as we got in the cemetery, it was just overcast, cloudy the entire time, and like all the artificial lights were like lighting up the clouds, so you could see pretty well in the cemetery. And then as soon as we left, it went back to being dark, clear skies, which I thought was kind of interesting.
I think the most interesting thing that happened... Well, actually, there's a couple interesting things that happened, but there were a lot of cars. I just want to throw it out there. There were a lot of cars because there was a road like right next to it.
Also, eerily enough, there were train tracks.
Yeah.
So it's like... and I don't think we heard it until we were at the monument, which, like I said, took us about probably 20 minutes to find. So while we're there looking at the monument, in the distance, we just hear that train whistle, and it was kind of like, that was an eerie feeling. Like, you can't really chalk that up to anything paranormal, but it was just an eerie feeling based on the circumstances of why we were there.
Alex.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
What do you want me to...
I don't know.
Anything you were feeling.
Yeah, anything you felt.
Okay. So towards the end, when we were getting close to leaving, we did the last EVP session, and when we were doing it, I felt like I was being circled.
Where was it?
In front of the mausoleum, the Charles Collins. Yeah, we were right in front of there, and you guys were doing the EVP session. And as we were doing it, I just felt like something was closing in on us.
Yeah, we'll get back more to that situation later, because that definitely was probably the most...
climactic.
Yeah, it was the most intense moment of the night.
I just want to say the mausoleum, the way it was built, it's like this like dark, inky kind of stone. Like, it looks like a horror movie mausoleum.
Yeah, there was something just kind of odd. There was like a statue. Did you guys catch what was on top of it?
I thought it was a gargoyle.
It felt like it would be a gargoyle, but I don't know if that's actually what it was.
Yeah, maybe that was just my mind implanting that there.
Yeah,
did you see what it was, Alex? Or?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh,
I don't know. Tyler, do you know?
No, I was
okay.
looking. I imagine. I think I said out loud there that it's like I imagine it being a gargoyle, but just because it was so dark, but then you were up against it and you were so close, you didn't have a good view of it. I didn't get a good look. I was just wondering if you guys...
I was so scared, like, I don't know, something was going to jump scare out of the gate, because it was like...
Oh, we also saw, what was it? It was like I don't remember which one of you guys I was with. Well, maybe it was you, Alex. But it was like I remember I joked, I said, I'll give you $5 to go in there. What was that? It said, like, open, like, there's a word for it. I can't remember what it was. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Oh, that little mausoleum? I didn't go down there.
I know, that's, yeah.
So it wasn't me.
But it was like a stowaway or something. It was
like a little, not crypt, but
it was like, it felt like a crypt though.
Yeah.
But there was that door and it said something and I can't remember what it was, but it was just creepy. It was like,
yeah, there's like a little door that, but a couple feet high.
Yeah, I was gonna joke I'd give them $5 if they
Nope.
were. But
If it was already open, then maybe. But
I probably wouldn't even do it if it's already open.
How much would it take you to go in there?
Me?
Yeah.
20.
$20.
I'm a cheap date. I don't know what you want.
In this episode, I don't know when, we'll probably announce it. We took 5 EVPs total. We'll probably take some time to research them on our own with better headphones. Like right now, we have a splitter plugged into a splitter plugged into 3 sets of headphones.
Don't give away our secrets.
So there's a good chance that the connection isn't there. We can't get as loud as we want it to be. You know, we probably have better headphones at home. So we're going to take some time to listen to the EVPs on our own, see if we can find anything. But each EVP we took had at least something that we were like, do you think there's something there? Like, I'll just be upfront and honest, even though I want to keep you guys intrigued. There was nothing clear as day. I'm a voice talking.
Yeah, there's no I'm not happy that I died. That's not there.
Yeah, like, you guys shouldn't be here. There's not, Yeah,
no.
What's your favorite color? Blue. Like, that's not, it's not in here. But there are unexplained noises and grumbling, and there's this one, I don't know if it'll make it in here or not. It sounds like a low growl, and we were all really freaked out. It could just be Charlie's stomach.
It could be my tumbo. I don't know.
Yeah, next time call that out, Charlie. If your stomach grumbles, call it out.
I didn't feel it, so maybe it wasn't, but I don't know.
But so we have 5 EVPs that we're going to break down, and if we have anything interesting or, worthy of being in here, we're not just trying to make it more interesting than it really is. We'll be uploading the actual audio in here. We'll probably announce it maybe at the end and say this is where it is. Or maybe I'll just say it now. You know what, Charlie? This is where we will include the EVPs. We will see you on the other side. Is there anybody here with us right now? Can you make a noise if you're here? That's talking in the background. Train. Breathing. Where were you going? Is there anything you want to tell us? Was that someone taking a step?
I'll touch the phone.
Okay.
Did you start burning my hand because we said we didn't feel anything? Did you want to make us aware of your presence? I felt it on my forefinger.
Can you touch it again if you're here?
Did you die in a fire? Or the train cars that caught on fire? So we're at the same spot, and I felt a tension in a spot in my neck that I haven't felt a tension for a long time. And I don't think it's from me. Are you trying to put some kind of tension on my neck to let me know that you're here? If you're around, can you kick a rock or rattle a bush or something?
Are we bothering you by standing here? Is that your stomach?
Yeah. I know you can hear that.
Is that a bird?
That's a bug. Now's the time to say something. Charles Collins. I apologize. Did you do it to yourself, or were you murdered?
Breathing.
I apologize for my bluntness.
Everyone thinks that you committed suicide. If you were murdered, you can tell us now. I just felt a really cool breeze. Are you here, Collins? Can you hear us? If you're here, Collins, can you make a noise? Can you make a sound? Are you making the tree shake? Breathing. Okay, so if you guys think you heard anything, email us at thesegwaypodcast@gmail.com and say, hey, that first EVP, I think it sounded like this, or that second one, I think it sounded like this. Let us know what you guys think, because just the three of us, like every time we heard something a little bit different. So the more people that can hear this, the more people that can give us feedback. I mean, there's a chance you will hear something that we wouldn't have heard.
I just want to say, oh, it's okay.
It's late, y'all.
I just want to say, I'm probably not going to do any kind of manipulation to the audio, except for maybe amplify it.
He might put like a spooky ghost in, too.
Yeah.
He just puts in, you want to play a game.
Right, no, okay. Probably just amplification. Okay, so we went to, one second.
Oh, damn, dude.
So we went up to this other mausoleum.
Yeah.
This other mausoleum after we saw the big monument, after we saw the Collins thing. There's like 3 or 4 other like little mausoleums. And this one was so cool. It was this it looked like the Pantheon. And we went up to it. I'm just like, I like Greek history too. Are you here?
The ghosts were making fun of you at that point. Like, what a nerd.
I know, right? But it was really beautiful. Honestly, it was Smith. I was like, that's a very indescript name, so I don't know who that is.
Very Greek.
Yeah, right. But that was a very cool thing that we got to see. I don't think any fruit came from that, but if it did, that'd be cool. I mean, that's the whole concept of this episode. If it did, wouldn't that be cool?
If.
Right, here are 2 things. Charlie had 2 experiences. And this isn't, we're not getting to the climax yet. But leading up to it, Charlie had 2 sensations, if you want to talk about them now.
So the first one was outside of the Pantheon looking one. And I just got this like tension from the base of my neck to my left shoulder. And it was like a grip. And we did an EVP there, and I was like, are you gripping me to like get attention? What do you want? I wish I would have been more forceful when we said that, but nothing happened. But it was a strange sensation, and I've had neck pain in my life before, but nothing like it was a unique kind of feeling. And the next thing was outside of the I guess it's all outside, but it was next to the train actual monument. And on my index finger to my middle finger was a burning sensation. Do you remember when I blew up my hand?
Yeah.
The other couple weeks ago? It kind of felt like that, but just on my index and my middle finger.
And Charlie made a really interesting connection because, like we talked about in the last podcast, when the train cars fell in the water, like the stoves and the lamps and stuff that were heating the trains caught on fire. So there were people, despite being in water, that actually were burned to death. And so when he was having that sensation and brought that up, it was kind of like an eerie revelation, or like an interesting way of bringing the context of the story back into play.
It was weird how fast I came to that conclusion, like, myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was impressed that you thought of it.
I don't know if I did myself, you know?
No, you did.
I don't know if I did, though. Like, I don't know, like, I was like...
Give yourself credit. You know the story.
Maybe, but I felt it, and I was like, that's a burning sensation. Why do I have a burning sensation? My first thought was maybe I'm, like, getting scratched, but I didn't see a scratch.
I think the only thing I felt physically, the only thing I felt the entire night was like a really cool breeze. Like, there was windy moments, but I actually call it out in one of the EVPs. Like, I felt like a chilling coolness on my face, which felt a little bit more intense than just the normal breezes that were happening. But, I mean, it really could have just been a breeze. But that's, as far as, like, the things I felt.
It's not like it's October or anything.
Yeah, it's not October outside. Which, by the way, let me just throw this out there now. If you're, like, 19 minutes in and you're like, well, this sounds like shit. We already kind of mentioned we're in a parking lot in Charlie's car, and we only have 2 microphones right now. Charlie and I are splitting one, and Alex has one in the back seat. So if the audio doesn't sound quite as pristine as it normally is, get over it. Because this is a bonus episode, because this is the 5th week of the month. So you know what? You're welcome. You're welcome.
They should be grateful, honestly.
Yeah.
You should be so lucky to get a 5th podcast.
I was going to say something, but your little rant threw me off. I was going to say maybe it's time to get to the climax of the episode.
The good stuff.
The really good thing, I think.
It was not good at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it caused us
to... It's time to nut.
It caused us to end the investigation, quote unquote.
I think it was probably getting close to that point anyway.
Yeah.
Which I want to give Charlie a shout out. I rip on Charlie a lot, and I fuck with him a lot. Because he sometimes gets antsy feet, wanting to leave sooner than I feel like is due. But this time, he manned his ground. He didn't complain. He wasn't trying to find reasons to go back. So I give you full credit. I'm talking about you like you're not here.
I know, right?
Holding the microphone. I give you full credit. Yeah, we were there for about an hour and 5 minutes. So I give you credit.
Yeah, I did my best. I was like, it's okay. Everything's fine this time. Everything's okay. Doing our last EVP, we go to Collins' mausoleum again. I'm just going to call it mausoleum. I'm not sure if it's actually what it's called. So we go up to the mausoleum again, and Tyler's like, you want to do another EVP? I was like, sure. He was like, do you feel anything? I was like, no. He's like, okay, that's fine.
So we're kind of like at this point, it's like, let's just go. But for whatever reason, I was like, you guys want to circle it. Like, do you guys want to circle the mausoleum? And you were saying that you were getting shortness of breath.
Yeah, towards the end of the session, I was starting to have a hard time breathing.
See, and you kind of gave like a signal, correct?
Yeah, I was trying to get your attention to let you know that I was feeling something.
See, when you gave me that signal, I thought it was like, I think I heard something. So I was actually trying to prolong the EVP.
Sorry.
I was trying to think of more questions. I was like, oh man, is he feeling something? Is something happening? But then we ended it, and then that's when I was kind of like, maybe we should walk around it. And then I could tell you were starting to like breathe heavier. But I don't remember how we got on the conversation about why that spot seemed bigger, or like there was more going on than the actual monument that has the unidentified bodies. Like, it kind of seemed like when we were going there that Collins was kind of like a second thing, where like the main thing was the monument with the 19 or the body, the unidentified bodies, and then Collins was just kind of like a separate thing, where it actually turns out that Collins' mausoleum was bigger. So it was kind of like the way we were framing it was like, you know, we don't, like, imagine if there's any way of knowing, like, if you were murdered, but then you found out that people kept saying you committed suicide, like, imagine how you would, like, if you had any conscious way of knowing that people didn't know how you died and they were reporting it wrong, like suicide, I feel like you would want to get that out. And then that kind of leads to what happened next, which I cannot describe, so I have to let you take it from here.
Yeah.
Me?
Yep, go ahead, Alex, all you.
So, Tyler, you started going towards the mausoleum, followed by Charlie, so, you know, I followed as well. And at the time, like I said, I was having a shortness of breath, but it wasn't like anything I couldn't handle, it was fine. But the closer I got to the mausoleum, I started feeling an immense sadness. And as soon as I got to the corner,
you kept like doing a woozy kind of thing.
Did I? I don't
Yeah.
You were saying that you were lightheaded.
Did I?
Going up to it, yeah.
You said you were lightheaded when we first entered, too, by the way.
Yeah, I did.
But yeah, like you were saying, like you were getting dizzy and lightheaded.
I actually have no recollection of saying that, so that's
You did like
weird.
twice, and you also like did like a wobble.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna have to like sit down for a second. But I guess I didn't know the extent.
Okay, well, I don't remember doing that actually, so that's that's kind of weird. Let me back up and just say that I do suffer from panic attacks from time to time. The last one I had has been over 2 years at this point, and it pretty much ended like that. So I started crying, and then what normally happens is I get this feeling in my chest and I double over, and usually results in me like yelling, unfortunately. So I pretty much just started bawling when I was on that corner, and Charlie made me hug him. So
sure, say it like that. That's fine.
You did.
I did.
I mean, it made me feel better, and then but it was weird because once we backed away from it, it like went away almost instantaneously.
I don't want to milk your panic attack, but can you kind of describe what you were feeling?
Yeah. So like I said, when I got to the corner, I just felt, like I said, sadness, but it was, I don't know if it was for him and his situation, or if I was feeling what he felt when it happened, I don't know if I was just feeling empathy, or if I was somehow, like I said, feeling what he felt. And it was just, I couldn't contain it pretty much, and I just started bawling.
We were walking away, and we were talking about it a little bit. And was it in the car? I don't remember what it was. But we were talking about him, if it was murder or suicide again. And you said, what did you say, Alex?
I feel like it was suicide, and I have no evidence to prove that or anything, but I just based on how I felt, I think he felt bad for what had happened, and he killed himself.
And this will be harder for you listeners to justify in your mind. Like, I've known Alex for a long time. Charlie's known Alex even longer. Alex is a great actor. Yeah, we've done improv together. This was not
acting.
No. I mean, first of all, we're not making this up. Two, if he was acting, which he wasn't, to put on to cry in front of your friends, it's not like something you would just think of doing. Like, it was 100% genuine. It was 100% authentic, and I don't think I've ever come even as close to feeling as much emotion as you felt in like those 4 or 5 minutes.
He almost threw up.
You did, like
Yeah.
You were like dry heaving, and I've seen you have a panic attack one time. Was it Five Guys that we said? So I've experienced it before, but it was just like I like, we already just said we like debunking. We don't like jumping to conclusions, but it was literally, we just finished an EVP. He was feeling something. We started talking about his situation, about what if he was murdered, but it was ruled as suicide and people were wrong and he wanted to justify. But then Alex had this intense emotion channel through him, enough to even say that he felt maybe it was suicide instead, which was kind of going against the frame that I was trying to do anyway. So
right. Well, sorry, just because I felt that feeling, and if I did think that I was feeling what he felt, he still could have been murdered. He still could have felt that sadness, but that's just the conclusion I was coming to. That's
true. I mean, the fact that somebody who is a relative of somebody who died in the train accident could have killed him. I'm just saying, and like, there's no way that we could paint the picture as clear as it was for the people listening, but it was just the most authentic, like, wave of sadness and emotion that I've seen in anybody as instantaneous. Like,
it was so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it normally that fast for you if you ever get a panic attack? Because that was so fast.
It usually builds. So, like, the one that I had at Five Guys, it had been building for hours before we had left.
Yeah,
I woke up feeling pretty bad, and then I thought, I'll be fine, I'll power through it, but as soon as we started driving, it just kind of escalated. I don't think it's ever happened that quickly.
So, did you know it was going to happen when you were doing the EVP?
No. Because I was feeling okay when you said, let's go to the thing, and I felt short of breath, but I didn't expect that to happen.
When it was happening, what were you, like, Was it completely reactionary to how you were physically feeling? Or were you even thinking about Collins at all when it was happening?
I was 100% thinking of Collins, actually.
Really?
Yeah, so I didn't get a vision of a man in my head, but I had just felt of a loneliness. And in my head, like I said, I don't have a clear picture, but it was like someone sitting there alone with this burden. And it, like, just went right over me, so.
Well, that's the creepiest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Charlie, but like as soon as we got to the car, because Charlie doesn't like talking about the things as we're leaving, which I can understand. But when we got in the car, like the first thing you said, well, that wasn't all you, Alex.
No.
Like that wasn't all you.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, I hate that this happens to me. Like, I try to hide it. I don't, want people to notice that this is happening, so.
Like a panic attack in general.
Yeah, no, it's not something
Right.
that I'm like, oh, hey.
This would actually be an interesting topic. Obviously, there are people that suffer from panic attacks. Obviously, there are people that have had paranormal experiences. If any of our listeners have had that type of a strong emotion or reaction during something bizarre or creepy, let us know, because this is like a whole new thing that's kind of intriguing to me, because like, another thing, let me put this in context even further, and this might be a future ParaFourMal. On our drive to Ashtabula, because we met in Cleveland to go together, you guys were talking about the town of mediums.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Lilydale.
So, like, I already, in our consciousness or our subconsciousness, we already had, like, the idea of mediums and people channeling spirits. And isn't it crazy that, like, I don't, like, this is a bold claim, and I'm saying this is that it potentially happened. I'm not saying it did happen. But there's a chance that you channeled somebody 3 hours after talking about mediums in this city that do it. That's a, like.
How do you feel about that?
Like, I'm go ahead.
No, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think I would want that in my life. Not that, I mean, I've never thought that ever, you know what I'm saying? Like, this hasn't really ever happened before in the sense of, being in a potentially paranormal situation.
I just think, and you know what, maybe it didn't. Like, it could have been a completely genuine panic attack at just
Right.
a weird moment, and we are acknowledging that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying the coincidence and the context is just insane.
The coincidence is outrageous to me because it was felt okay, step toward it, happened, step away, everything's okay again.
Yeah, and I was also talking about it. Like, I was speaking about his perspective and how would he be feeling, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just...
And I mean, that could have very well been it, because you were talking about it, that I started thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? But it did
yeah, like, I
happen.
could have planted it there,
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. But it did happen very quickly. Normally, I could tell it's going to happen, like, when I wake up, or like a panic attack.
And you didn't have that today at all.
No.
Well, you said 2 years, right? Or
Yeah.
you mean a feeling?
A feeling of,
Right.
like, today. No.
I wonder if anybody else has ever experienced this. The chances of somebody experiencing something like that listens to this is probably very, very slim. But if anybody out there has, please let us know, because it is, like, I don't know if that's a phenomenon or not. Like, I don't know if this, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something I've never seen before, and I love horror, I love paranormal, I like conspiracy. I've never really heard about something like this, or obviously never witnessed something like this. It's just bizarre. I mean, it's been 2 years. And while talking about it, you get those feelings like they were his own. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I'm getting tired of holding this thing.
Tries cutting it.
I don't know. I find this whole thing, like, I was like, well, you said when we were leaving too, like, I feel a little pushed.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been us ourselves. That was another thing. I want to be upfront about this, because, like, I feel like there's a point of no return, and there's a line that sometimes you decide if you're going to cross it or not. I was thinking after his panic attack, do we do an EVP? Like, was that Collins channeling through him? But it's like, do you value an EVP more than your friend? And to that, I say no. Did I think about it? Am I that bad of a friend? Yes, I did think about it. So for anybody that's like, why didn't you do one right after it happened? Personally, I thought about it. It felt insensitive. It felt overvaluing potential EVP over a friend's feelings and well-being. So for anybody that might be thinking or wondering about that, that's my explanation for why there was no post panic attack EVP.
I didn't think about it. I was just like, we gotta go.
Well, that's because you're a good friend.
I appreciate that. But if ever this happens again, I hope it doesn't. But if it does, I'm in it. So that's something you want to do.
I will
Ask.
do the EVP as soon as you're in the panic attack.
Hey,
how are you feeling? Tell me what you're feeling.
It's funny because I filmed this whole experience. And I'm like, well, thank God I didn't film that. But the part of me was like, well, that was a really intense moment. I don't know if I would want people to see that, but...
Yeah. No, that's... I already feel like I'm kind of invading your personal space talking about it, personally.
Oh, it's okay. It was part of the experience.
Yeah, I know, but... It would be interesting to post it, because... there would be people that would say it's fake, or he's acting, and it would just... That would piss me off, personally, for you. So, I guess wrapping this up, Charlie had... I'll give a very brief summary just because this is the way that this episode is going is exactly how I never want any of our other podcasts to go, where we're just rambling. But this is, there's no segments in this episode. This is just us very immediately post-experience kind of recalling things in order. So summary, we get there, we go in. Well, first, I guess we get to look at the monument memorial at the hospital. We go in. We gather 5 EVPs. Charlie feels his neck get pressure, touching. He gets burning sensation in his fingers. Alex has a panic attack by Collins Mausoleum. And while we were talking about Collins, and do I say potentially channeled? I don't want to is that arrogant of me to even say that could have happened?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe channel is not the right word. Felt his grief.
Yeah, just an extreme kind of empathetic wave.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah. So that's kind of what happened. So I want to thank Alex, the fact check whisperer, for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, hint, you guys might be seeing a little bit more of him in the next month.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't know either.
Throw your plug in one more time.
Oh, so my YouTube channel, Ghost Type Alex, I do video game related videos, and I didn't mention this earlier, but I did film this whole thing, and I'm going to be uploading that as well.
Awesome.
I was going to ask that. I was like, did we mention about the filming?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
So that'll probably be a couple weeks. It'll be after this episode, but
yes.
It'll be cool because you'll kind of get a visual. It'll be nice. You'll hear it first, and then you'll get a visual representation, just like you heard this story last week, and now you kind of get our experience now. So I first of all, thank you for listening. Second of all, I want to apologize. I know this is more rambly than our episodes normally are.
It's way less scripted out than normal.
Let's say authentic.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. We're being real.
It's raw.
But hopefully this will just make you appreciate how great our normal episodes are. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. This is part 2 of the ParaFourMal. We hope you're enjoying your Halloween, eating a ton of candy, making your dentists very happy. Are you guys doing anything for Halloween?
Nope.
No.
Do you have costumes?
No.
Me either. Man, we're lame.
Oh,
we are lame. We are lame. But you know what? That's fine. I bet a lot of people are dressing up as the Joker.
Probably, yeah.
So anyways, if you guys are enjoying this, again, I know it's a little bit rambly, please share with your friends, review 5 stars. We still got 7, and we appreciate all of you. But anybody else that wants to take the time to leave us 5 stars, we see you, we appreciate you. And as always, this is the segue.
The best thing to happen to you on a Thursday. Mausoleum. Wow.
I was calling it out so you wouldn't talk over it.
It's a mausoleum.